all you wonderful people. I hope everyone's doing okay, staying positive, moving your body, being of service to others in some way, whatever you can do to help yourself through these adventurous and challenging times. But again, I'm very, very, very grateful to be with you today. Today's practice is going to be focused on hip openers. I would recommend, if you have blocks or books, that might be helpful. Also a strap or a belt or a scarf at the end. We'll be using that for the hamstring stretches. So again, your choice if that works for you. So I would invite you to find a comfortable seat, perhaps on a cushion. And if you're on a cushion, just allow the body to come to the front edge of the cushion. Or let the hips relax a bit. We're going to check in as we always do, noticing how you feel this morning. So begin to turn your attention inward, perhaps by closing your eyes or simply taking a soft gaze to the earth in front of you. Just settle in, center, find that perfect place to land. Begin to turn your outward attention inward. Notice the parts of the body that are connected to the earth, grounded down, really feeling some nice groundedness from the earth beneath us. And then inviting the crown of the head to lift right up toward the sky, rooting to rise. Relaxing the face and jaw, throat. Drawing the shoulders down away from the ears with just a gentle pinch of shoulder blades to back body, which will make more room for the breath and also the heart to be open. Invite the relaxation into the arms and fingers and hands, legs and feet and toes. And begin to turn your attention to your breath now. Noticing the flow in, that gentle pause at the top of the inhale, and then that exhale. Find the breath pattern that works for you. Perhaps Durga breathing, that 3-part breath. Perhaps you prefer Ujjayi breath, that more of that back of the throat breath, the ocean sounding breath. Perhaps your inhales and exhales are of the same length, or perhaps you want to make your exhales a little bit longer than your inhales. The breath through the nose or mouth or combination. And just notice how you feel today. Notice what's present for you, physically, emotionally, mentally, and energetically, using that information to inform your practice so you can choose the best and most perfect way to create your own practice this morning. Always listening to your body, finding your own needs, and practicing self-care, that loving kindness. So as we're rooting to rise, this morning our first breath asana will be seated sun breath. So inviting hands home to heart in Anjali Mudra, connection of the palms together, connection of the thumbs to the heart space. And as you gently press in, if that feels comfortable, you might notice your bandhas engage. The belly button to the spine activating, and also pelvic floor muscles, invite them to draw up and in. So you're activating those internal locks. And being mindful of your shoulders, seeing how everything feels on the inhale, reaching up, gazing upward perhaps. And then just floating the arms down and coming back to the heart space, and pause and moving through your warm-up yoga breaths about 4 or 5 more times. Maybe as you raise the arms up, you gaze upward. If your neck feels comfortable, maybe as you bring the arms down, you tilt the chin and look down toward the hands. Always making those perfect choices for yourself. One more breath here, one more round, 1 or 2 more. And then return hands home to heart. Releasing the right hand down to the side of the mat, fingertips or palm down, left arm up. Again, be mindful of your shoulder. Where do you want to go? And then finding this lateral bend. Find your drishti. Where do you want to be gazing? That top shoulder can pull back a bit perhaps. And then circle your wrist, close and open your hand. Invite the movement the other way as well. And then come to stillness, pause, breathe, and connecting that left side sits bone to the earth. So you have this beautiful side body stretch, getting into the hips. And then floating that arm down, connecting to the earth. Right arm comes up now, and finding this lateral bend on this side here. Again, maybe drawing that shoulder back and circling the wrist, close and open the hand. Maybe your drishti, again, find where you want to be, and then go the other way. Again, feeling this beautiful side stretch. Pause here, breathe. Remember to make this a flow by moving side to side at your own breath pace. Maybe you'd like to tilt that same side hip off the mat as you come side to side. Again, find your rhythm. Find your perfect timing and breath. Breathe. Nicely done, my yogis. Just side to side again, opening everything up. And then once you get an even number on both sides, we always want to be equal in our movement. Connecting down, finding Sukhasana, again, easy pose, lengthening through crown. Take a breath in and make a choice about the spinal twist. Do you want to turn just the head or from the waist up? So take a breath in, slowly find that twist. Lengthen spine is the key. Maybe your left hand comes in front of the body on the mat, or comes to the top part of that right leg. That back hand can be like a kickstand close to the body, inviting that spine to lengthen, crown of the head to lift. And then on the next inhale, slowly unwind. Head comes around last. Take your time, resettle, center. Always make those choices for yourself. And then keep that beautiful lengthened spine as we find that rotation on this side, whatever variations and choices are best for you. Keep the breath flowing. And then slowly unwind. Again, head comes around last. Nice job. And then invite the shoulders to move here. Any way that feels good. And again, if you're moving one way, I would invite you to move the other way as well. So maybe you like a few circles backward and then forward, or maybe you like more of a figure 8 move where you roll forward and then roll back. Again, you always just find your perfect practice by listening to what you need. And then we're going to just come off your cushion if you have one and just extend those legs out in front. Lean back just a bit, tap out the legs. Good. Sitting up nice and tall here. Touch your big toes together. We're just going to circle around. So you can lean back a bit. Put the hands back behind you if you'd like. A lot of times cracking and popping as you're moving through this, particularly in the ankles, and then the other way. Beautiful. Perfect. And then coming back to Dandasana, staff pose, as the legs are very straight and strong, just like you were standing on them. So you really want to find that energy in the legs. The toes are drawing up toward the sky. We're sitting up nice and tall. Palms can come to the side of the hips, gently pressing down into your mat, inviting your crown to lift. Breathe, engaging those bandhas. Again, seated postures, there's a lot going on here. A lot of activity, especially in the bandhas, the legs, the whole spine. This is not a relax. You really are working hard here. Nice. And then we're going to invite cobbler's pose by gently drawing the soles of the feet together. Again, maybe you prefer to have the heels further away or closer in, depending on how you feel. Hands can come wrapping around the ankles to start. Take a breath in. Now, because we are in the beginning part of practice, I'm going to invite you to bow forward, not round the spine quite yet, okay? Because that's safest later on in practice. And also from a different position. Seated rounding is best done more at the end of practice when you're warmed up. So if you'd like, elbows come in the insides of the knees, gently pressing the elbows down as you draw the knees up to the elbows, feeling that connection, feel that energy. Gazing forward, again, about a foot or so in front of your feet. Maybe bending the elbows a bit and drawing the heart forward, but keeping that beautiful extension in the spine. Again, right now, try not to tuck and round. Try to keep the back body active. Nice. Nice. Cobbler's pose. And then release, coming up nice and tall. Take your right leg out, extend it out. Very active, just like we did in Dandasana, staff pose. Bring your left leg up and cradle it here. You can have one hand underneath the heel, the other hand underneath the knee, and just rock a bit side to side. Beautiful. And then decide where you want this leg to go. Would you like to keep it on the mat with the side of the foot right next to the leg? Or maybe on top of the thigh of your extended right leg? Or perhaps gently drawing in the heel close to the hip of that right leg. Sitting up again nice and tall here. Seated half lotus. Breathe and extending through the spine. No sharp pain ever, ever. Beautiful. And then release that leg down. Lean back a bit, maybe tap it out a bit. Again, let those legs release a bit. Good. Coming back to cobbler's pose again. Soles of the feet together. Again, maybe hands around the ankles, maybe hands around the toes. Maybe elbows connected to the knees. Again, your choice. Again, I would invite you to keep that extension in the spine. Breathe. And then coming up, lengthen through spine, left leg extends, straight and strong, just like in Dandasana. Gently drawing up that right leg, cradling it, just like a baby here. One hand under the heel, the other hand supporting the leg, opening up those hips. See how this side feels compared to the other side. And then come to stillness for seated half lotus. Maybe you'd like to have that sole of the foot right on the mat next to that leg. This is perfect choice. Or maybe you'd like to bring that leg, or I should say foot, on top of the left thigh, or maybe drawing it in a bit so the heel comes closer to the hip of the left leg. Again, sitting nice and tall here. Feel the activation. There's a lot of work going on in the body here. Nice. See how everything is feeling. Beautiful. And then release. Tap everything out again. And then last seated posture for now is wide-legged forward bend. So the legs are going to widen out to where it's comfortable for you. Think about the toes drawing right up toward the sky, activation again. So the toes are pulling back toward the shin. Here again, we're going to offer a bow, not a rounding of the spine quite yet. That's coming in cat-cow. Sitting up nice and tall, hands can be on the legs or in the inside or outside of the legs. Lengthen and then begin the bow forward. Find where you land. Maybe some people touch the toes. Some people touch the shins. Some people touch the thighs. It's all perfect. Draw that heart forward. Breathe. Keep the sits bones connected to the mat. Nicely done. And then on the next inhale, float all the way back up. Beautiful. Maybe tap those legs out a bit. And now we're going to be transitioning to hands and knees. So if you're anything like me, you might need extra padding on the knees. Feel free to find that. Whether it's a mat underneath or whatever is good. Now from here, we're going to be in table. So you want to have the hands on the mat. Again, if there's any wrist challenges or you'd like a little more padding, just roll the mat up. It can be really nice for your wrist to have that little extra help. So the wrists, elbows, and shoulders are all lined up and those knees are underneath the hips. Now here's where we're going to start to offer that rounding because we're no longer seated. So cat-cow. On the inhale, lift the tailbone, gaze forward. The whole spine will follow. And then on the exhale, tuck the tailbone around the spine. Press the floor away. Tuck that chin. Exhale, exhale, exhale. And go back and forth. The cat-cow movement originates at the tailbone. In both pieces of this movement, the cat and the cow, everything starts at the tailbone, that base of the spine. Breathe. Coming back to table, widening out the knees, touching the big toes, walking the hands forward, offering puppy to start. So you're sinking down to the earth, perhaps the forehead or the head just hovers over the mat. The hips are up in the air in puppy. Maybe rock a bit, side to side, getting into the side of those hips. See how everything feels. Maybe you'd like a little more intensity. You can sink back to child pose. This is a lot more intensity and weight bearing on the knees, so make your choice. So wherever you are, in puppy or child, decide where you want your arms to be. Again, you can have them extended. Maybe you bend your elbows and place one hand on top of the other and bring the forehead down on the top hand. Maybe you like the forehead down and the arms down by your side with the palms up. So finding your posture of rest here. Maybe move a little bit into those hips. Notice how everything is feeling here. Nice, and then come back up to table and get your blocks if you would like them, if you have them and you want to use them. Now this asana is going to be a low lunge to half split, and when we come back up again, I'm going to offer you an option for the low lunge with the leg coming out more to the side of the mat. So again, you're going to decide where you want to be. But we're going to be starting here with the hands can be on the blocks if you would like. So we're in the hands and knees. We're going to take that right leg up in between the blocks, however it lands here. And you want to line up your ankle and your knee. So you don't want the knee over the ankle like that. You really want to be more here. Scoot back a little bit. I'm trying to watch myself in the camera so make sure you can see everything here. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. Okay, so from here, in this low lunge, we're gazing forward. Notice the back is nice and straight here. We don't want to round in. Nice and tall. Sink in. Maybe you'd like to scoot that right foot forward a bit and sink in a bit more. This is a huge hip flexor stretch on this back left leg as well. So there's a lot going on here. Breathe. And then we're going to come into half split. So we're going to straighten that right leg as we bring those blocks back with us perhaps. We're sinking back. That right leg is straight as you can get it. Remember, you don't want any pinching behind the knees. So it's really important not to lock out or totally straighten the knee. Gazing over that front foot. Again, if the spine is rounding like mine is, you might want to have your blocks a little bit higher up. And here, since we're moving into the middle or so of the practice, if you'd like, you can decide to drop that head toward the knee if that feels comfortable. If it's not, if you have osteoporosis or you may be dealing with any other issues and you like to keep the spine in extension, that's a perfect choice as well. Good. And then we're going to sink back into that low lunge where we were before. Now this time, if you'd like, this is an option you can take. Instead of that right leg in between the blocks like we had it, you could scoot it out to the right side of the mat, drop that right leg over to the right a bit, maybe come down your elbows or forearms onto the block, and come to the side of the foot of the right leg. Perhaps here, breathe. Huge hip opener. So again, feel into it, see what feels best for you. And then we're going to slowly unwind back to table. And then you're going to decide, do you want to come to child pose, puppy, or downward facing dog? If you'd like a downward dog, place the hands onto the mat, curl the toes under, float those hips up. You're pressing back, those hips back. You can walk the dog. You can do a snake dog, moving around here. Again, do what feels good to you. And maybe while you're here, notice right versus left side. And then come back to table. Again, having the blocks, if you like them, at any height that works for you. You're going to take now your left foot and scoot it up in between the blocks. Yep. So now again, you want that ankle and knee lined up. gazing forward, sinking in. So now you're feeling a nice stretch in this whole right hip flexor as well. Maybe again, you want the blocks at a higher height or lower height, depending on how you feel. Breathe here. Hips very active. There's a lot going on in the hip area in the body. A lot of powerful muscles are here. A lot of energy here. So working with the hips is great. Hip openers are great to do, but it's a challenge. And now we're going to slowly straighten that left leg as we bring the hands or blocks back into half split. Heel is down, toes are lifted, sinking down. Again, some of you are going to be sinking down your butt here a little bit closer down to the mat, depending on your knees and your flexibility. Again, whatever is best for you, always finding, and again, here's your option to bring that head into the knee. Again, if that is not in your practice or doesn't feel good to you, you can stay upright like I am, or you can sink down. Again, you make your judgments. You always decide what is best for you. It's all about you, people. And then we're going to walk back toward bending into that left knee. Now here is where you're going to decide whether you want to keep that left foot in between the blocks or you want to scoot it over to the left side of the mat, bring both the blocks in the inside here, maybe coming to forearms, maybe dropping that left knee over to the left. Opening up the hip here. Breathe. Good. And then slowly unwind, come back to table. Move the blocks aside if you'd like. Again, child pose, puppy, or downward facing dog. Just letting everything stretch. Stretch out, moving side to side. Good. And then coming back down to the mat. Perfect. Now from here, if this isn't comfortable, what I'm doing here, I'm just in a really low squat. You can come back and sit on the on your bottom here versus being in this particular position that I'm in. This is a lot of intensity on the knees. Took me a long time to be able to do this one after I injured my knee with my arthritis here. And some days it feels okay and some days it doesn't. So again, it's one of those things. So you can always come down and sit versus being right here. Nice. And then we're going to now check something out really quick. Yeah. Okay. We're going to go down to the back body. I was just checking to see quickly if you could see my whole my whole body as if I was standing, but I didn't think that was going to work today with this phone camera. So now we're going to go down to the mat on your back, slowly coming down always. Taking your time, and once you're here, I would invite you, if this feels comfortable, you can widen out the feet to the edges of the mat and just drop one knee in, come to center and drop the other knee in. So it's just a side to side, gentle twist, opening up the hips on the back. The arms can be out to the side if that feels best for you. Just see how this feels. If you prefer, if that doesn't feel good, you can always bring those legs hip height, or hip distance, I should say, and just rock side to side into knee drops that way. So make your choice. What feels best? Wide legs or legs closer together? Nice. And then coming to stillness, walking the legs closer together now, about hip distance apart with the knees. So think about a yoga block in between those knees here. Pausing. We're going to move up into bridge. This is another great way to work with the hips. So the arms are down by the side, fingertips reaching toward the heels. Gaze is straight up. You don't want to tuck your chin. Taking a breath, and on the exhale, slowly begin to lift up, pausing here. Again, if you'd like to work, if you feel like you need a little more support on the core and the back body, then engage your glutes a bit, those muscles in the bottom that we were sitting on. If you feel like you want the core to do more work, relax your glutes and engage more from the bandhas here. Breathe. Nice. And then taking a breath, slowly come down one vertebrae at a time. Extending the right leg up, cross it over so that the ankle of the right leg hooks on the top of that left knee. Gently press that right knee away, either with your muscles or you can just take your hand and do it, however feels good. And this is a modified pigeon or figure four. So we're going to offer a couple different choices. You can keep the left foot right where it is on the mat. You can press that right knee away. If you want more intensity, and there's a lot more intensity here, you're going to lift up that right foot. You reach those arms through, clasp the hands on the back of that left hamstring as you gently pull that left knee in and press the right knee away at the same time. Both sets of toes are active to help protect the knees, I should say. Breathe here. Really feel the stretching and the lot of activity in that right hip. Good. Float that left foot down to the mat. Find your strap if you have one, or your belt, or your scarf, whatever you'd like. We're going to hook that right leg with a foot and just gently come into that hamstring stretch. I like to straighten my leg first and then invite the leg to come up to wherever it can be. Again, you can have your strap at the arch or the ball of the foot. You gently invite that leg to straighten. No locking into the knee though. You don't want to lock.